And we're counting down to the start of the 25th Austrian Grand Prix at the A1 ring in the Styrian Mountains. Juan Pablo Montoya out on track in the parade lap. We've been meeting his Williams team in the first of a brand new feature. Now we're going to hear from the lady who always puts a smile on Juan Pablo's face. It's Mrs. Connie Montoya.
You got married to Juan Pablo last year, didn't you? But you'd been together for a bit before that. Tell me the story about how you first met.
Well, we first met in Colombia. Well, I saw him a couple of times, but nothing major. And then we went to a race. He was already Indy champion in 2000, the Homestead race. And there, I asked him for an autograph, and he asked me, "I've met you somewhere before." I'm like, no. He's like, yeah. And my ex-boyfriend, like to talk to him more, came up and said, "Yeah, you once asked for an autograph and everything." And there we started to chat a little, took a picture, and then 2 weeks later he calls me. And there we kind of talked, but my boyfriend wasn't really happy about it. At that moment. So we stopped talking, and then like 2 months afterwards, I was in Miami and he just called, and he wasn't with a girlfriend, I wasn't with a boyfriend, and since then we've been together.
Did you have any reservations about getting involved with a racing driver?
Well, I really didn't understand what I was gonna do. It was like, I was talking to him 2 days ago about this. Like, my life before Juan Pablo, I look at him like Juan Pablo Montoya, the race driver. And since I'm with him, I look at him like my boyfriend, my husband. So it's like two different worlds, two different persons. But at the beginning, I really didn't know what I was getting into.
Do you think if you had known, you would have still got together with him?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's worth it.
Now your life is very much with him, isn't it? I mean, you come to all of the races with him. You're very supportive of his career.
Yeah, this year is my first year I could do all races, because the last 2 years I was studying, finishing college, so I couldn't come to every race. This year I'm like just dedicated to him, actually.
What's Juan Pablo like away from the track? Is he very different?
Yes, he's more calm, because race weekends he does get like really hyper. But sometimes he just sits around and wants to do nothing. Watch TV, play PlayStation in the computer, do things like very calm. And other times he has to do something, so he goes motorbike racing, enduro, play tennis, squash. He has to do something.
He's always so lively at the track. I imagine it must be a bit like living with a playful puppy at home. I mean, he's just always up bouncing,
I live with
isn't
a 9-year-old boy, and everything. Everything he does and thinks and what he wants and everything is like a little boy. It's very fun.
Is he very demanding?
Yes. But I think that's bad. Not bad, but for him, he's very, very hard on himself. Very, very hard. So that's why it's good, because he expects and always tries to give 200% of himself. But sometimes in Formula One, there's so much factors. The car, the tires, the engine, the other drivers, everything. So you can't control everything. So he gets a little bit frustrating, but it's okay.
What do you think is Juan Pablo's best quality as a husband?
Best quality. He really takes good care of me. He's always thinking about me, about if I'm okay, if I need something, if I want something. He's really there for me.
The inevitable question I have to ask you, I suppose, being married to a racing driver, do you worry about the dangerous side of the sport?
No, you know there's a danger. You know it's an extreme sport somewhere. But it's so secure. For example, 2 weeks ago when he had the Silverstone crash, I really didn't know about it. I was just in internet, and Mark Janet came up to me and said, "Juan Pablo had a crash." And I looked at him like, yeah? I thought he just went off or nothing special. Like, if somebody tells you he's okay. But I didn't know, because you don't, in tests you don't have the TVs or anything. And then he comes back and he's completely full of mud and everything. I'm like, where were you? And then I go to see the car, and it was completely destroyed. So there you really get a sense. But you look at the car, you look at the crash, you look at the speed, and he walked away from it. So when it's your time, it's your time. On a car, in heart attack, anything. So.
How do you see your life evolving together? Because obviously Juan Pablo's not going to be racing for always.
I think I try to imagine it, but I really can't, because it's weird. Like, I met him racing, I've been with him racing. So he says he wants to go to go-karts again, but I don't know, he has so much toys and so much things, he doesn't have time for anything. So I think he'll be everywhere, every time, doing everything.
Is there anything that you would particularly like to do in your life, though?
Yeah, I think that after he retires, it's a long, long way from now, but I think I'll start working in my stuff, my pub, helping Colombia, like now really, really into a job.
That'll be your time.
Yeah.
That other fella never had a chance once at Juan Pablo swooped, meeting the Austrian Chancellor there. He's on the second row. Williams hoping for their first win in 20 races. Juan Pablo, well, he was the happy one on the podium last year when Michael Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello squirmed with embarrassment. Who is hot this afternoon? Let's hear from our commentators, Martin Brundle and James Allen.